it's a welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. Our podcast is part of the World Podcast Network, which has over 1,200 podcasts in over 12 genres. Help us rise to the leaderboard by going to https://worldpodcast.network. And if you have a podcast of your own, you can join for free. Our guest today is the amazing Julia Luce. She is an expert matchmaker that can save you a lot of time and effort and find the one while you live your own life and do your thing. Julia, first of all, I'm sorry I cut you off before I started. That's a green screen behind me. It's not my actual background.
It's very pretty.
Thank you. And you are as well. So, Julia, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it. So, we're going to get started by who is Julia Luce?
Well, I'm a matchmaker. All my life, I've been interested in communications, of how communication can either improve a relationship or can totally kill it. One word can change everything. One word can heal, and one word can kill.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm from Ukraine, I've seen a lot of unhappy couples. And ever since my childhood, I began asking questions how people that married each other became total strangers. Why? Like they could walk at a distance of like 100 meters from each other without even talking to each other and without looking at each other. And I saw like a lot of couples like that. I saw it was like a pattern. And then I saw a lot of couples that were still in love with each other after being married for a long time. And then I thought to myself, okay, then they know the secrets. They must know some secrets. They must be doing something right to keep the fire of love alive. And
Mm-hmm.
they must be working on their relationships. They must be putting time and effort into their relationship. And I began to get to know such couples. I began to ask them questions to find out their secrets. And
Mm-hmm.
what I found out was that actually happy couples had one and the same secret in common. And this is how it all started my thinking towards finding out what makes a relationship happy and how to help other people to build a happy relationship. Because a lot of people know how to be good at business, but they don't want to put effort into a relationship, or they need somebody to be by their side so that they
Mm-hmm.
can do their work, or they can do their business, and somebody can help them to build their happy successful relationship so that they know what they're doing, where they're going, and what they were doing wrong before, so that they can avoid those mistakes again.
Okay. All right. So, also, there's more to Julia that folks need to know. If you follow her on Instagram, you do not see her talking as much about what she just mentioned. You will see her do a lot more exercising. Could you explain a little bit about that very quickly?
Yoga and working out and bodybuilding are one of my passions. They help me to get my energy for matchmaking. When I work out, I get a lot of energy and I put my energy into my business. I
Okay.
if you do something like if you do something 100% all the time, you can go crazy. But if you diversify, it helps you to uh, diversify the focus. You can get relaxed. You can think when you're working out, you can think about working out. When you're matching people, you can think about matching people. If you think too much about one and the same things, sometimes it's not good because you don't let go. You are too much focused, and sometimes your brain can slow down. But when you have a diversified focus, when you're active physically and mentally, this is what can produce great results. It can help you to see different situations from a different perspective.
Okay. All right. So, before I get to the questions that were sent to you, pre sent to you, there's a few questions on here. Um, What is your definition of love?
Love is when you wish somebody happiness no matter what. Love is patience. When you want to see that person succeed, you want to see that person happy, whether with you or without. You don't want to force that person to be with you. You just wanted to see that person happy. You're very patient with that person. You're very kind to that person. You want to do things with that person. You want to do things for that person. You want to spend time together. You want to plan time together. You see the future with that person. You feel happy with that person. You smile every time you think of that person or when you see that person. Love is something that begins with love to yourself. I think when you love yourself, when you know who you are, when you have found your core, and only then you can love another person. Otherwise, it's codependency. You're trying to fill in the void with something that is not there. And when you're trying to fill the void with another person, or with money, or with working out, or with different hobbies, you cannot do it because you are not love. You're not whole. And when you're whole yourself, only then you can love another person. Only then you're ready to work on yourself. Of course, there will be challenges along the way, but love always perseveres. Love always protects, and love forgives. And
Okay.
like,
Oh,
like
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
you wanted to say something.
No, I thought you were finished. That's why. I
Okay.
didn't realize. I'm sorry. Um, Now, I had said to you before we started this, and I'm going to say it. You know,
I read your book.
I in previous podcasts I've mentioned that I'm my own worst enemy. That I've had a lot of negativity in my life, especially to myself. And I actually had posted um, a couple hours before Julia came on. I actually gave the rest of the guests that were coming on this coming week the opportunity to back out after they saw what I look like, because there are people that will take one look at me and say, "Ew, I don't want to chat with him. I don't want to associate with him. He looks like a creep," or he's got that creepy look to him, or something like that. So I gave, like I said, I gave Julie the opportunity because I made a mistake with her early in the week, and I apologized to her about it, and she forgave me. But like I said, I am my own worst enemy, and I hold the grudge on me for it. And it was on a simple word. I'm not going to repeat the word, only because I use that term with everybody. So when I said that, I say that to everybody. So you're not the only one I said that to. Okay, I say that normally in in the nicest way I could to be supportive while keeping the conversation in a positive sense.
Mhm.
And I was corrected on it, and like I said, I apologized about it. So that's why I didn't repeat the word again. But but after I posted a picture of myself, I gave all the guests that are coming up the opportunity to back out if they felt uncomfortable to wanting to chat with me on the podcast. So I am thankful that Julia decided to stay on. Um, I'm not saying the others uh, canceled; they didn't yet, but I never know. So, which leads to my question of this: how do I get rid of the negative beliefs about love and self love?
I can work with you on one-on-one basis.
Okay,
Like,
all right,
if it is something that you've been dealing with for a long time, you can listen to mantras, affirmations, and so on. That will work for a short period of time, but then it will all back off. because you need somebody that will be there for you. We cannot like we don't like pain. We all move away from pain and towards pleasure.
Yeah.
In order to get rid of the negativity, sometimes sometimes we feel worse before we feel better.
Yeah.
And when
Well,
we
sorry.
better, we need somebody that will be supportive of us, that will be our mentor, our coach, and that will help us to get rid of those negative beliefs, and that will help us believe in ourselves. Because, like you said, we can all be our worst enemies,
Mm-hmm.
and people that are struggling and are without money are also their worst enemies. Nobody cursed them. Nobody said that they have to live without money. They decided that they want to live this experience. They like roller coasters. Money without money. Money without money.
Yeah.
Okay. Or there are people that are very good at entering a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They can enter a relationship, they can be courted, they can even get married, and then they get a divorce, and their cycle continues.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all in their mind. It's like a program. And until they get rid of the program that they need to get a divorce, maybe their parents got a divorce, maybe their parents were fighting in their childhood. And for some reason, their brain caught that program. And their brain is like continuing this program. I had a classmate, and her parents used to quarrel with each other a lot, even in front of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the first grade till the 10th grade until they finally got a divorce. They were shouting at each other.
Wow.
And then, like when my classmate got older, and when she was 24, she was about to get married for the first time. She was very good at wine dine period. She knew how to get married, and then something always happened, and she got a divorce. And she didn't know what was going on. It was a program. Like she saw what her parents were doing, and her mind began to repeat it. And until she realizes, I don't know whether she realized it or not, but that program was following her at that time.
Okay. All right. The other thing in reference to when I mentioned about my negativity and the way I am and the way I feel sometimes, even though this negativity that I brought out for that I explained today was just something that got to me because of another conversation um, that brought out a lot, and it got to the point where I was like, here we go, back to wanting to be self isolated because this is what I was about to do. I was going to give up on everything. I was going to give up friendships. I was giving up almost everything. I just wanted to leave everybody alone, give them all the space in the world, and and literally tell them, don't be concerned about me, don't care about me, I'm not worth it. Okay. I was to that point where and there's I have those times where I do feel that I don't see a relationship again in my life.
Yeah.
But recently, I'm seeing some things that have changed me around a little bit. Even though in the back of my mind, I'm still feeling I'm 53 years old. I don't see a future for me. I really don't. Only because of if it's if it's not one thing, it'll be another. And if it's not another, it's something that's within society, and then society will take a look at and find something and go at that. So that's why I have those feelings. But like I said, recently I'm learning to look over that, and even though that fear is still in the back of my head, I don't think about it. Even though like I'm presenting it for right now, only because it kind of came back today on a temporary basis. So the question for that is, How do you put boundaries in a relationship?
At first you need to have a relationship with yourself. You need to know who you are, where you are going. I remember that you love jazz, right? That you like this, and this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And you've got to know that this is who you are. And the person that is going to enter your life will have to accept it. This is Joy Calva.
Yeah.
He's 50 years
Well.
old. He likes jazz. Even if somebody doesn't like jazz, they will have to accept it that you like jazz, that you want to go to different jazz concerts. They will have to accept it. They don't necessarily have to like it.
Okay.
You
Well.
know, I usually like what I did was I wrote a list what was acceptable for me in a relationship and what was not acceptable for me in a relationship. And as I'm from Ukraine, we had the Soviet Union is a very tricky place.
Mhm.
Put so much crap into your mind that it takes so long to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Uh, I was told to choose whether you choose love or you choose money. If you want to pursue your business, you will never find love, but it's not true.
Mm.
And it takes so long to get rid of that belief. I used to live with that belief. Whenever I chose love, my business was going down. Whenever I chose my business, there was no love in my life. And it was a big lie. Like, you can have this and this when you plan your schedule, when you know who you are, what is important for you, when you
Mm.
make time for love, when you make time for working out, when you make time for business. Everything is possible.
Mm.
And there is no time only in the past because you're stuck somewhere. You don't know where to go. That's why you keep calling your friends, family, and so on to discuss it. That's why you have no time for love, for working out, for doing business,
Mm.
for making new projects. But when
Okay.
moment you definitely know who you are, you have your boundaries, and you can find time for everything. And when something is important for you, you just tell your partner, hey, this is what is important for me. I would love this and this in a relationship. And you say it without any offense because, like, you want to communicate out of love. When you
Mhm.
feel offended, you need to take time, you need to breathe, you need to understand what got you, and you need to work on it. It's not about that person, it's about your past wounds that hasn't been healed yet.
Okay. Um, just to give the folks an idea, before um, we did this, and I had sent her questions that are gonna be brought up in a minute. Um, I kind of was going to ask consent in a scenario in reference to you know, her perspective of, you know,
Oh, oh, yeah.
of me, but I'm going to spare it
Uh-huh.
because it's
I
not that it's not that I don't want to hear it. I'm not saying it would be negative or anything. Um, I just feel after the other day, I just felt like I better not push it. So that's why I'm not going any further with that
why
scenario idea.
I can
Okay.
questionnaire. I got to what you like and what you dislike. You have to let me know what kind of lady you are looking for, like age, height, weight, country of origin, what she likes and what she dislikes, and you've got to be very specific about it.
Okay.
It's about what you want. It's about your request, and
Okay. Okay.
and
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Um,
I can deliver the request.
yeah, I understand. But like I said, when I asked that scenario, I asked that about you personally. So that's why I said I'm not going any further on it because, like I said, after that thing the other day, I was like, I better not push this. So that's why I didn't go any. That's why I stopped it before I went any further on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the questions. As we're going to the questions, I'm going to introduce you to the person that presented the questions. She is the podcast #1 fan,
Oh my
#1
God.
supporter,
Yeah.
and this is American Fox.
She's
So she has questions for you. And the first question is kind of what you were starting to answer. So the first question is, how does she make a match?
So, when a lady comes to the agency, I check her passport, I check her ID to make sure that she says who she is, so that like she's who she is, and like she fills in the questionnaire and what kind of man she's looking for. And then when the man comes to the agency, he also tells me what he is looking for.
Okay.
I match people with similar backgrounds, similar hobbies and interests because similarities attract. I see people's personalities and I see what can click and what cannot click. Then a man and a lady go like on a few dates with a few people, and they let me know how they feel like with each person they go out on a date with. It's all based on how people feel with a date. You know, you can fill in the questionnaire, you can say this and this, but like it's also about the chemistry. It's also about whether you laugh at each other's jokes or not. Whether you feel comfortable with this person or not. Sometimes, like this can be seemingly this like be same people, but they feel totally uncomfortable on a date. They feel totally uncomfortable with each other. They don't know what to say, or if they say something, they don't know, or they're unsure whether their like date understands them or not. I
Okay.
think on the first
Okay.
date, doubt whether you want to see a person for the second time or not. And a lot of people make a mistake of thinking that, okay, this is my future wife or this is my future husband. The first date is about making a decision whether you want to see a person again or not.
Okay. All right. So the second question from American Fox is, what is her accuracy percentage?
All the couples that have got from me are still married.
Okay, but what she's asking is like of all these clients that have come through you, what has been the percentage that you've matched?
You know, like I have different clients with different needs. Some clients just want to go out on the first date, and this is their request, and they get what they're asking for. And
Okay.
some clients is saying, "Okay, I want to get married. This is my request. This is my desire. Please do something about it."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what she was asking for was a percentage, like 80%, 90%, 100%. That's what she was asking in
Ex-
reference to that.
if people are honest, it can be 90 or 95%. But they have
Okay.
with themselves, they have to be honest with me, and they have to be honest with another person, and they have to be willing to communicate about everything. Only in that place, like there can be 100% happy relationship.
Okay. All right.
And it's
And
not about
go ahead.
side about numerology or astrology. It's about the willingness of two people to put in some hard work to make a relationship magical.
Wow. Okay. The final question is a very interesting one, and this is the question she has: would she put Wonder Woman with Batman, Superman, or Joey Calvo?
Where is the Wonder Woman? What does the Wonder Woman want?
Yeah. Well, she's well, like I said, in reference to that, she was going off of what I've said. So I guess you haven't read like the comic books or
No
uh,
traditional versions of Wonder Woman,
yes,
and
yes,
they can be feeling something different at a different period of time.
yeah.
Sometimes a one like may want to be protected, right?
Hmm.
Uh, if she wants to be protected, then it is Batman and Superman. Sometimes a Wonder Woman wants to protect, and then
Right.
this is Joe Calvo.
Okay.
For me,
Okay.
what a Wonder Woman wants right here and right now, like you know like uh, our values and what we are looking for change with time evolve.
Okay. All right. So, if you want to reach out and chat with American Fox, she's on Twitter at American Fox 4, and she's also on Instagram at American Fox 12018. And she loves chatting with real people. And um, there, she's a great person. Like I said, she's the podcast #1 fan, #1 supporter. She comes up with these great questions sometimes, um, that you
I
know that
costume.
yeah,
Great.
yeah, and that needs to be answered. I mean, if you take one look at American Fox right now, she does look like Wonder Woman. She is like Wonder Woman, except the only difference is, she don't have a lasso of truth, and I mean, she is an Amazon like Wonder Woman, but like I said, different features. So that's American Fox. So we can take that off. All right. Um, so in reference to um, now you were mentioning in reference to how yoga builds up the energy for you to do well with your matchmaking. Um, and believe me, if you see her post on Instagram, you see more of her rear end wise than you see of her face. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry to put you on the spot for that. I mean, but I'm saying most of the exercises that she posts is more facing the other way. Um, but what I made sure when I post, even though some of the reels I posted of that direction, the majority of the promotion that I did was more of that amazing face that you see right there on the screen, because I'm a and I mean a lot of things uh, on these podcasts, um, and other things that I like to do. One thing that I really like, and believe me, this was the first compliment. This is always the first compliment I always give to ladies. I always compliment about the eyes and the long hair. I am a long hair person. It's more, I think, because of later on, if the relationship goes further to a direction to where it gets physical. Um, but just it's just one thing I really like, and that was the first thing I said to her as I even after I even asked her to be a guest. When I saw what she was really like, I was like, wow, you know. So I complimented her on that, and at the same time, I I do my best to watch what I say, and I always say this, and you probably will agree with what I'm saying in reference to it. Words always make a difference in everything. Doesn't matter if it's a relationship or even general conversation. So I try to watch what I say. Like I said, I made a mistake the other day, and when I was when it was when I was known about it, that's when I turned around and I said, okay, I can't use that, so I better watch what I say now. So, as much as in the back of my mind, I'm apologizing for everything I'm saying right now, only because I, I, I don't, I hate making people feel uncomfortable, and that's like I said, that's been my thing. Like no matter what I try to do, I've made people uncomfortable one way or another, and I learned that even more today with someone, and realizing why this happened, and this happened. And even with American Fox, uh, things had uh, went too far to the point where friendships were breaking up, and the negativity, like I was mentioning before, and the self isolation came into effect. Like I said, right now it's temporary only because, like I said, what came up today. So, um, like I'm saying now, in reference to Julia, I mean, she's an amazing person. I got I got to learn that. Um,
If you want me to help you with matching some, welcome
uh,
to, and I can.
I'm being careful in saying it only because of certain reasons, and I'll explain to you later. Okay. Um, it's like I said, what I just said about a minute ago. Um, but what I'm going to ask you to do is how can people reach out to you if they're interested in wanting to be matched and want to find what their relationship can lead to?
They can reach me either on WhatsApp or via text 408-571-9552, or they can send me an email yogalightgirl2017 at gmail.com. Yoga light workout, yoga light LIGHT girl, GIRL 2017 numbers at gmail.com.
Okay, or you can go to her Instagram at Julia Inversions, um, and you can reach out to her that way. Um,
Instagram is for my personal trainers only.
oh, that's the personal trainers. Okay, okay. So okay, so when you go to the Instagram, you might have to send her a DM on the side in reference to the matchmaking. Um, Only because that, like she said, it's for her personal training when she does the personal training in the yoga and all that.
No
Oh, go
problem.
ahead.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's for my personal trainers to track my progress.
Okay, I apologize for cutting you out on that. Um, I that's one more thing about me. Besides, I am always I'm always apologizing. Um,
We can work on it in personal coaching. When you're
I
apologizing, it means that you feel guilty. And until you learn to stop feeling guilty, you will always attract negativity.
okay. I appreciate that. Um, I mean, at least like I said, I've learned why. Like I said today, I learned why I'm like what I was and what I'm feeling right now temporarily. Hopefully, it's temporary. Um,
Do
but
you
I
have
will. but I will say, in reference to who I am, I'm a person, and where she's at, I've never been out there. I mean, the furthest out west I've been is Las Vegas. I'll say that. So I like to try to travel. Um, I'm a person who goes to Atlantic City, New Jersey. So if people looked at the podcast internet page, yeah, the podcast, not internet, uh, podcast Instagram page, you'd see all these nice looking rooms and stuff down the shore. And sometimes you'll see me taking pictures of the beach. I was a person who loved to cuddle. I was a person who loved holding hands, walking on the beach, being supportive, telling the person I was with how much they really mean. I was a person who loved putting them on a pedestal and like making them feel like they were a goddess. I was a person who, I still do it, but like I said, recently I don't get that opportunity to show it. And I like I said earlier, in reference to all the negativity, I don't see that chance of showing it, only because of, if it's not one thing, it's society that will take another look at it.
Nobody will. You got to do what you feel like doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I go to the casinos in Atlantic City. I love going to the casinos in Atlantic City. But the main thing that I would ever want to do, and I mean, I dream this till I'm blue in the face, is, and Julia, I'm apologizing, I'm using you as an example in reference to it, okay? But saying, in this scenario that you were with me, and I get this nice room in Atlantic City, and when I go to Atlantic City, I always get an ocean view room. I always try to get the best view of the ocean, because I always like to tell the person I'm with that they're just as beautiful as the ocean is, view wise. I do like I said, I love building a person up to the point where, and it does get too far to a point too, and then I start to feel the guilt. But I do everything possible to build that person up, to make them feel like, because make them feel like either they're a goddess or a queen, or I try to make them feel like they're very, very special.
I understand.
And that has been my downfall, because every time I've done that, I wind up getting hurt for it later on.
And
so that's why now I'm scared of. I'm not saying I'm scared of doing it, but because of it, I'm like totally. I had that total fear
not because
that it won't happen again.
Not because of that.
Well, like I said, I have the feeling it won't happen anymore, but at the same time, like I said, even though right now it's only a temporary feeling of it, I mean, deep down, I really
Joy, I know how to help you. Do we have any other questions? Otherwise, I'll have to keep going.
Oh no, I'm done. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. So you can reach out to Julia, through her email, or like I said, yeah, if you need to reach out for the email, you can reach out, leave a comment. I'll post the email for you, in reference to it. Julia, thank you for your time. I'm sorry I couldn't, you know, expand it out more as much as I could. I thank you for coming on. I thank you for dealing with what you had to hear out of me. But I am thankful that you. Oh. And at the same time, I'm sorry for what I did. Watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. God bless you.